what is the the logic behind government kati wanotekeko ezakale oba maybe oba you just choose to
anti kati omanyi akatale kali funny waliwo omuntu akugamba njagala mbuzi nga ya black nga teriimu kakala n'akamu nga ye gy'ayagala nga yakugamba bw'embeera mu mbuzi eza black mpulira ng'obulamu bukomyewo kati bw'atuuka wanavaawo ebirwadde byonna biwonye olw'okulaba just embuzi za black kati bw'agulako n'atwala then that is okay. So kitumenya okugamba nti kati omuntu ayagala ya black kati tuli mu faamu ey'ekintabuli ng'erimu buli kala.
Now I understand for international market when they are buying things from let's say Uganda oba birime oba ki they consider very many things zijanja botya maybe ziri ku natural oba fuirira watu wa something like that here what has made you able to have that international market for the beef, I mean for the vegeta mutton?
Yes, it is goat's meat. So kati ekisingira ddala okutuyisa akatale k'ensi yonna era still kiddako kwono kati ono tumulabanga habo zibanga eziri eddagala lyennyini kale ate embuzi zaffe zonna za free range
kati bino ne womba mu biterese ne bikola silage still biba bikyali.
Yes, kuba temubaamu era chemical temubaamu ddagala.
What about in treatment?
Treatment it is okay. Yabeerawo kubanga
kati embuzi okuvira ddala kata akazaalidde eggulu kafunye eddoozi yaako esooka eggulu kati embuzi egenda okukula ng'erina full package yayo yonna.
So mubaawo ne vet ku farm
baveti bangi okusinga abakozi abalala kubanga bizinesi yeetooloolera ku abo abalunzi abasinga obungi actually ndooza tebakiteekinze serious
era nga bwe yasoose okugamba nti naye obuto buno bufa ate ng'obwana abulaba bulamu ate era nga buzannya
faamu ezisinga obungi okufa kya bulijjo era bw'agamba nti nafiiriddwayo embuzi 2-3 kya bulijjo kati ate wano mbuzi okufa kyekiri rare era bwefa wano abasawo okugisala bakole postmortem kyekyagise munda ebadde na buzibu ki so that tekiddamu kubeerawo. So buli mulunzi yenna ekyo kyeyandikoze bw'obanga tonabeera ready kubeera na vet ku faamu ebyobulunzi tonaba kubeera ready kubikola kubanga bw'obikola nga toyina musawo kiringa okugamba nti nzimbye essomero n'essiina basomesa naye abayizi mbalina nga toli ready kusasula basomesa.
So here the moment gekazaalibwa you record that is how you track the age katono ya miezi 3 ne ya miezi 2 we batyo. How do you identify them? Ndaba ziba zifaanagana ezimu. Do you give them something like unifying emu ku ndala oba ogira bano kitegera nti no yeri?
Simply we do winning every after 3 months.
Because winning is what in Kijukira agriculture.
Winning kwe tujamu obuvudde ku mabeere. Kati obuli wano kati obubuzi buno obuto busobola kubanga bubeera ne maama. Either number egenda kubeera high and the number bwebeera high costinga kitya nti emmere gye zirya egenda kukendeera because also the land is calculated. Ekyokubiri nti n'ebirwadde bigenda kweyongera nga bw'olaba nti population mu nsi bwebeera nnyingi ne vices zibeera nnyingi emize gibeera mingi kati mu ngeri yonna ng'obwana obutino bukola ki obujjamu kyova olaba nti wambuuza nti akantu ako kakola ki yo selection nti mukadde ako nga tetunafuna we tubuteeka so ogya tuzitaddeko awo
kati nga obuvudde ku mabeere butandise kulya.
Mbujjamu kati oba tuba tusobola okunyonnyola nti zino za bbanga bwezi zino za bbanga bwezi.
Yeah, then waliwo question endala eri common naddala ku bantu betulundira kati baba beebuuza embuzi ennyingi bwe zityo how do you identify them okwawula nti zino za Kenny zino za Jebi zino za Isaiah kati olaba nga buli mbuzi enkulu eyina taaga mu kutu kali bw'osemberera taaga ezo buli mbuzi eyina taaga yaayo kati ago mannya g'abantu nti kati embuzi zo 100 zonna ziriko erinnya lyerimu eri erinnya gwe weka alina mu system yonna abantu ne bali bakakadde ne bali bobukadde 10 osigala gwayina eri erinnya weka so ekintu bwe kisobo kyanguwa okwandifaayinga
generally okulunda embuzi Now like you mabali mu business yo kulonda nze personally nina bias era naina bias nyo ku bintu byo kulonda olaba ono Kenny lumu nalondako naye ente Kenny ne kwata sente nengula ente sente mpitirivu ntuko okwagala okutunda ente nga okufuna akuwabu sente mu ente kamera webaza mukama nga zenyini ze wateekamu okuzikomyawo nalo lutalo after a long time okitegeera kati nenkomenkereza nga nebuuza business eri awo sirabawo kati gwenga gwe omuna Uganda ali eyo toba bias okuba oli mu mbuzi but according to experience kubanga akyemanyi byombi waliyo birunzeeko n'olaba oba kukatale mba mu bitunda you see olowooza ente n'embuzi what should someone really look at investing in wabanga ayagala kola sente obulunzi
ekyo kibuuzo kirungi nnyo kati bw'otandika ne capital ongambi wagulako ku nte sikyo nze nagulako ku mbuzi ekitegeeza we can relate the knowledge capital gw'ogulisa ente bw'obanga weetaaga ente 10 tono njja kuyitaga miliyoni aga
2
miliyoni 2 ku mbuzi za YPA nga buli mbuzi ya mitwalo 7 twende ku ya YPA nti yo teriiko bulwadde teriiko teriiko kufiisa tegeera emiliyoni 20 gokka ekitone ennyo gajja kuwa embuzi nga 7 ku 10 embuzi 7 ku 10 omwaka ogusooka gokka zigenda kuzaalira omwana ogwo
omwaka gwonna zizala mwana omwo
nkuba yango zize waffe naye bona kale kankambaye nga
balangaye active farming muntu ayina embuzi
after 6 months oguse embuzi enkulu after 6 months ozaazizza buli mbuzi tugiteeke kaana kamu tegeeza olina kati embuzi 10 enkulu n'obuto 10 bonna
butwalide wansi ko kantu
kamu
ate nga lumuzinza kuzaana babiri
obalabye wano nga bayonsa basatu
onfuna kati omwaka ogwo ogumu nga guggwako zigenda kuddamu ziri enkulu zizaale era zizadde aka kamu kati olina embuzi enkulu 10 olina abato 20
mu mwaka gumu
omwaka gutya
nente zalya mwaka gumwera
yewa
antiwa ngera kwa calculation yente onfuna
mwangu mwe mzamu ebi
kati omwaka ogwokubiri
awo bitandikira okunyuma ogwokubiri
abaana abasooka okuzaalibwa bagenda kuzaalira kumu ne batono
nga tuli mu
nzaliza omwaka ogwasooka nzaliza 20 n'engata ku 10 n'empeza 30 ogw'omukaaga oguddako n'enzaaza embuzi
20 zonna zizaala
nezizaala obwana
20 ne bufuuka embuzi 50 mu mwaka gumu n'ekitundu
ameka 5 kati embuzi 50 kale tugambe nti tutunze ku
white watandika ne capital wa miliyoni 7
miliyoni 2
musanvu ku mbuzi
ziba miliyoni 7 ku mbuzi 10
kale kati miliyoni 7 zikwasani
kuzitukwasizaawo kati
kwasani
kuzinkwasizaawo kati kubaye n'ekyento ba aso ogifunye
entereka ente don't kale sagala okuzogerako obi naye ndoza it's a matter of
nedda kati good enough
inefuna jefuna nga tujubalide mu kuzaala na kingo tubalide mu birala maybe in a larger extent maybe mata maybe bichi but still what about return on investment I think with what I'm saying both are better but what tuze mu money matters ngati you know there is
not culture matters
there is wanting cows because you love cows but when we are looking at business I think this is a better option.
My name is Obed Ben, Managing Director of YPA Farm. We are the #1 leading agribusiness center and we are of course the leading goat farmers in the country. I don't want to forget that we are the organizers of the Masters Agribusiness Forum and this year we are having one on the 28th March, I mean this month, at Sheraton Hotel, Kampala. And if you must miss, make sure you're doing it at your own risk. Yes, today we are going to talk about a lot of things, goats, pasture, how we do the feeding, why we do it on small scale, how we do it, and stuff like that. What you're going to do, stay tuned, because we have a lot of information today. We have a lot of pastures, varieties of pastures, and if we are to talk about them, it could take us a day or more. But briefly, we have different types ranging from vitamins, calcium, proteins, carbohydrate factor. Even if you have a very big land, let's say I don't know how many hectares, tens of thousands of hectares, the amount of animals, the number of animals, is still, if you don't have enough pasture, like grown pasture, you're going to be limiting yourself. Because if 1 hectare, that is around 2.47 acres of land, 1 hectare can accommodate just 1 cow. 1 cow like this. That is on free range system. But if you grow pasture in the same 1 hectare, that is 2.47 acres, I mean, you're going to have at least 10 cows in each acre. So it means in 2 acres of land, you can have about 20, 1 hectare you can have about 20 cows. And if it is goats, you can have up to 200 goats. Just imagine, 1 hectare equals to 200 goats. But on free range, you're going to have at least 15 goats. So the difference is you knowing what to do it right, and get results. Today, land is going smaller and smaller and smaller, all along from about 100 years ago. Land is getting smaller and smaller because of land fragmentation. So today, if you're to benefit from agribusiness, that is, if you're making agriculture a business, you're going to have to use pasture. And this pasture is more reliable, because now when a dry spell comes, like the one we have just faced a few months ago, animals have to starve. They are going to have a lot of issues. The pasture is going to dry up. The waters are going to be off the farm. So it means your animals are going to starve, and probably you're going to make losses. But if you have pasture like this, you're kawa, like you're good to go. You don't worry about whether it rains or it's hot. It doesn't matter. Animals are inside the pens and they're feeding from there. It's just a matter of harvesting it, storing it, and making money. So money in agribusiness is very easy and predictable and reliable. All you have to do is know how exactly you can do this. YPA has mastered the art of pasture farming and animal feeding, and today I want to show you about this. Is part of the pasture that has been harvested, because now the rains are coming. We have to harvest the old pasture so that the new pasture can grow. Remember, this pasture is planted once. You plant once, then go home and sleep. Come, cut, then it grows again. It regrows and regrows and regrows for about 15 years. So this is an opportunity, I'm telling you, farmers who are having problems of feeds. Feeds at the farm are most of the limiting factors. Even if you have very good management, you have very good breeds, you have very good markets, without feeds, you're wasting your time. Agribusiness depends almost 100% on feeds. What makes the results is feeds. Sometimes even when the management is poor, but the feeds are in plenty, you go to those farms in Churuhura, you'll find they are doing free range or paddock system, but you find their cows are healthy. If they are doing this, they would be far, far, far much better. And when you go to those cattle corridors in Akaseke, you find goats on free range, but the goat is very huge like this. Had they planned this, they would have maybe 10 times more the number they have, and they would also be making a lot of profit. Now, when it comes to harvesting pasture, this is what we need. One, you have to understand when the pasture is ready for harvesting. Pastures usually give us signs and symptoms that now we are ready for harvesting. For example, if it is maize, you have to wait until it flowers. It has to bring that milky maize. When the maize is at the milky stage, that is when we cut. So if you harvest before, it means some nutrients are going to be left. You're not going to have them in the ingredients. For example, alfalfa. You wait until part of the alfalfa, when it flowers, just a little. you cut. Most pastures, we wait for flowering. When they flower, we cut. It is only maybe lab and mukuna that we can harvest before they flower because they have a lot of leaves. So when we harvest, we don't harvest because we need to feed the goats or the animals. We harvest because we have to keep the pasture so that we give this pasture to an opportunity to regrow. Whenever you take long to harvest, you make losses. Why? Because, for example, pasture alfalfa is supposed to be harvested twice in 4 months. It means every after 2 months you're harvesting. So if you don't harvest in 2 months, it means this same alfalfa is going to continue growing, and when it reaches maybe 4 months before you harvest, it is going to start drying up. So you have lost once, you have lost the harvest that you should have harvested 2 months ago. You have also lost the leaves because it has dried up. So you have to harvest and store, and then it grows again, then you come back and harvest again. So harvesting happens regularly as and when the pastures show us symptoms like flowering, like a lot of leaves. When it is so leafy, come and cut so that it grows again, then you come and cut. If the goats have already the dried up pasture that they are eating on, come and store. That is why we are having storage.
So talk to us more about storage, because sometimes you can store anyhow, and if I have a bad storage, what happens? What are some of them?
You can't just store a pasture anyhow. No, sir. Thank you. You have to make sure this place is elevated. It is not on ground. Why? Because there is a lot of moisture from the soil, and if this moisture happens to directly get in contact with the pasture, it is going to get rotten. I'm going to show you an example here. This is our maize cocks. They have been harvested, but they have been put on ground, and so they have been spoiled. So we have made a loss here. There is an automatic loss. Much as they think they had a lot, it was still a mistake. These are mistakes that we do at the farms. So we have lost something like 10 tons here, simply because it was put on ground. Had it been stored up, it would be safe and intact and ready for crushing. Then we give to the goats. So when we are storing, it doesn't matter. For example, you can see my structure is not that very expensive or that fancy. You just make an elevated place, then make it aerated. It should have aeration, good aeration. Then also make sure that you put dried pasture. Don't just cut and bring. Just like this, it has to dry first. Of course, not dry, like it has to wither. When it withers, you put it inside and you can crush it at any time T. Also, you can dry it, you can wither it, crush it with the machine, then store it. So what you're hearing that sound inside, the machines are crushing and they are making that silage, rather hay, they are crushing it to make the concentrates, the powder form. So this way you dry maize or beans for sale. We don't dry them in direct sunshine, you understand? So, but when the goats are eating, they are not going to eat this. But when the machine crushes, all of it becomes powder, and I get a lot of food that I would have not gotten if I would not crush. So you need these machines to crush your food so that the goats can eat, which I'm going to show you down there how. So it means body weight gain is going to be easier than that animal eating raw grass, because raw grass has a lot of water, and this one is dry matter. So it means the dry matter easily, those of you who know some little science like mine, dry matter easily digests into the system than this raw. Sometimes this raw grass that goats go and pick on the wilderness, sometimes it causes diarrhea. Unlike this dry matter, where they eat just little and take a lot of water. So it means my goats are going to, one, have a lot of body weight gain. Number two, they are going to be soft. The meat, especially us, the meat producers. YPA today has a lot of contracts supplying meat to different companies, both here and abroad, simply because our meat is tender. So my dear friend watching me right now, those are some of the reasons you don't have to miss the season 2 of the Masters Agribusiness Forum at Sheraton Hotel, 28th this month. We are going to be at Resort Ballroom, and we're going to have full lectures of how to do all of this and gain from agribusiness, starting at 8 up to 2:30. So my friend, YPA is helping you, the farmer out there, on how to grow the pasture, then maintain it, and have nice breeds. Like if you have a nice breed, a goat that is weighing up to 140 kgs, I have them here, 140 live weight. So it means even if I'm to sell a kg for 20,000, I'll have at least 2 million plus from one goat. So some of you usually ask me, Mr. Goat, why are you telling us that that your goat is 1 million or 2 million? My friend, I'm just giving you an offer. I have goats of 700, but you find carcass weight of that goat is 35 kgs. So 20,000 times 35, that is 700. Actually, I'm giving you at a butcher price. I'm not selling a breed that I am selling it more expensive simply because I'm giving you a nice breed. Yes, it is a nice meat breed, but I am selling you at the same price I would sell to anyone that is in need of meat. All that is because of this pasture. Today, you're going to be limited because you don't have land. But if you get somewhere you can rent land, grow pasture, you can harvest the pasture, take it to your farm and feed your animals. You load a truck, you can crush it from the farm, load it and take to your storage at the farm, maybe somewhere in town, and you're going to feed your animals. People, the youth out there, this is a very, very interesting business. If you don't have goats, at least you can venture into the pasture business. And for you, you keep selling to the farmers the pasture they use.
Ladies and gentlemen, our fellow farmers, once again we welcome you. I'm Samuel Mwonge, the YPA vet. Today we are in a pasture garden. We have just started the rainy season this side. We have just received the rains, and now we are right now where I'm standing. This is called alfalfa. Personally, I call it the wonder pasture. I do call it the wonder pasture because of the wonders that it does. You see, we are just coming out of the dry spell and we are coming into the wet season. Into this wet season, you just see this alfalfa was harvested 3 weeks ago, but now it has started bringing out flowers. And remember, we told you that we only harvest this alfalfa when you see these flowers coming out, because when the flowers start to appear, it means that the nutritive contents of this alfalfa are at their maximum point. So it's where we harvest. When the flowers drop off, that means the contents have been lost. This is one of the pastures, and it's the pasture that is highly nutritious in proteins. It has a lot of protein content in it. So I advise farmers to feed these pastures on different species of animals. I told you personally, I call this pasture a wonder pasture because, first of all, it is resistant to drought conditions. You see, we are from the dry spell, but you see the vigor it has. You see, it looks healthy. This is the type of pasture that I'm talking about. Another wonder that it does, this pasture, when you feed it to your animals, you find out that the animals, since it has proteins in it, and proteins are body building foods, you'll find that the animal will start having the muscles of the animals will start to grow bigger and bigger. So these pastures will help your animal to grow big in a shortest period of time. That's why we call it the wonder pasture. That's why we call it alfalfa. The way we plant this alfalfa, it's not all that difficult to plant, and it's very easy to plant and very easy to manage. We plant it in rows as you see it. Then we don't allow these other, these are called pastures and these are called weeds. We don't allow this pasture to have weeds, so we keep on weeding this pasture to make sure that it looks nice and healthy as you see it. We plant it in rows. Before we plant, we have to cultivate the land and it looks so smooth to have that good tilth, because the seeds of alfalfa are too small and too tiny. So when we are planting, we have to make sure that the land is smooth, totally smooth. Now when we are planting, we get ropes and we demarcate rows. We make rows. These rows they are 2 feet. They are 2 feet. Then we make a row. After 2 feet, we make a row. Some people make 1.5 feet. Then they make another row. When we are planting, since the seeds are too small, we don't advise our farmers to use bare fingers when planting. What we always do, we get something like a bottle, these empty bottles of water, then we make small holes on each top, then we just use the bottle, we put the seeds in the bottle, and then we sprout them in the rows. That's when you can use minimum seeds, because we are looking at how you can save. 4 kilograms of alfalfa can plant an acre, but when you use your bare hands, you'll find that you can even use 12 kilograms to plant an acre. So after it starts growing, you make sure that the weeds are always removed. Since these pastures are grown for animals and are grown, like for us, we grow them for goats. When we get the manure from the goats, we bring and put in this garden. We fertilize this garden such that we get a nice looking pasture like this one. Then alfalfa will only take 3 months from the time of planting to harvest. To the harvesting time, it will take only 3 months. Then you harvest. Then after harvesting for the first time, this pasture has that ability of regrowing. So you find that every after 3 weeks, every after 1 month, you have to again harvest this alfalfa, and you take it, you give it to the animals. So it will give you make sure this alfalfa will enable you to have pastures throughout the seasons of the year, because when we harvest it, we keep it as hay. We store it as hay. When we are making hay, we just put the grass under sunshine, not to dry but to wilt, because whenever you dry this with this alfalfa, the nutrients are lost. But you just wilt it to make sure that when you compact it, it does not form molds. So after wilting, we get the bales that we have formed through this alfalfa. Then we keep them in the pasture store, such that during the times, the drought, we still have pastures to give our animals. That's all I can talk about alfalfa. All I can tell you, any farmer, any starting farmer, any farmer who is in production, you should not miss this pasture at your farm. You should not miss giving your animals this pasture. Stay safe. Once again, I welcome you, our dear farmers, to another pasture garden or to another pasture species. This is called Lab. I'm Samuel Mwonge from YPA. This is called Lab. This is another proteinous pasture. Most of our farmers always ask us, can I keep my goats on zero grazing? Is it possible? Yes, it is. So long as you have a variety of pastures that I will be showing you throughout. These are the pastures that will enable us to keep ourselves in production for a longer period of time, because we can give or we can provide them to our animals in two ways. We can give them as fresh fodder, or we can still keep them as hay, then we give them to the animals. We can preserve them as hay, then we give them to the animals when the right time comes. So this is called lab. It is another proteinous pasture. It is very good. It has a vigorous growth as you see it. So our farmers, if you're looking for pastures to plant, if you're looking for pastures to grow, if you're looking for pastures that are easily digestible and palatable to your animals, think of lab. I told you, we only harvest these pastures when they start flowering. So these pastures have started flowering. So this is the right time that we have to harvest these pastures and we take them to our animals, because whenever they flower, the protein content is always high, and whenever those flowers go off, the protein content reduces. So we should harvest these pastures whenever they flower. Don't miss other episodes on other pastures that animals eat. Thank you.
Tuli ku farm yaffe emu ku za YPA nga yogera nammwe ayitibwa Nabulamu Dennis, omusawo ku YPA Farms. YPA Farms tulunda embuzi, era embuzi ze tulunda zezimula mu background. Naye mu kulunda embuzi ezo tulina ebintu bingi bye tuzikolako ezitangira okufuna obulwadde obw'enjawulo. Tujja kwogera ku vaccine oba vaccination programs zetutambulirako embuzi zaffe ezibeera nga zifaanana nga wooziraba. Tujja kusooka tutegeere vaccine kyeki. Kuba abasinga tetumanyi vaccine kyeki era lwaki tuvaccinatinga, budde ki bwe tuvaccinatingiramu era lwaki twandikoze mu budde obwo. So kati okubanguyizaamu vaccine mu lufeetuffeetu oba mu lulimi oluzungu kye twandiyise biological preparation that provides active acquired immune that always fight against the diseases, especially the infectious diseases. So those infectious diseases ze tuvaccinatinga okusobola okuyambako embuzi zaffe okubeera obulungi oba ebisolo byaffe okubeera obulungi. Ebiseera ebisinga ebisolo byaffe birwala, naye tebirwala lwakuba nti byaba biteekeddwa okulwala, naye ffe abatafaayo. Kati olwaleero ogenda kayiga. Lwaki twandivaccinatinze embuzi zaffe? Lwaki wandivaccinatinze embuzi zo? Ekisooka, kijja tuyambako embuzi zaffe ezo okubuildinga body immune system bwe twandiyise obutafaayo obulwanyisa ki endwadde. Kijja tuyambako okureducinga costs nga ffe ze tukozesa okutuuka mu kiseera eky'okujjanjaba. Bangi bateekamu nnyo mu kujjanjaba ne beerabira nti singa yagema embuzi ezo oba ebisolo bye, mwattu teyanditeeseemu nnyo. Tulina ensonga endala gye twandiyise improving on the welfare or the well-being of our animals. Embuzi buli webeera nga ndwadde tebeera na maanyi galya. Ate nga tukimanyi bulungi nti welfare nga yo econtributinga kinene nnyo ku production ey'ebisolo byaffe. Toyinza kubeera mulwadde n'obeera gwe omuntu n'osobola okuyimirira, n'osobola ogenda onoonye ekyokulya. So kati buli wetu vaccinating embuzi zaffe oba ekisolo ekyo kyo vaccinatinze obeera okendeezaako engeri gy'oteekamu ssente nnyingi mu kujjanjaba ekisolo ekyo kibaddewo kitya. Ojja kwesanga tekirya bulungi lwa nsonga nti kirwadde. Kitegeeza okubeerawo kwakyo okendeeza ku life span yaakyo. So singa vaccinatinga kyandigiyambyeko ati okwongerako ku bulamu bwayo. Faama waffe omulungi yandyetaaze okutegeera singa si vaccinatinga mbuzi zange kiki kyenyinza osisinkana embuzi zaffe oba ekisolo kyo kizifunye. Ekisooka tujja kubeera n'embuzi zaffe nga buli kadde teziggwa kulwala. Ekitegeeza ogenda teekamu kinene nnyo okusinziira ku ekyo kye wanditeeseemu ng'omaze vaccinating embuzi zo. Tujja kufiisa embuzi zaffe gye twandiyise mortality rate ejja kubeera waggulu. So kati nga ggwe faama afunye omukisa nti osobodde okwogerwako oba okufuna communication okuva ku ba YPA, ki ky'oyinza okukola? Kitegeeza oteekeddwa vaccinatinga ki? Embuzi zo. Ojja kwebuuza birwadde ki bye nandi vaccinatinze embuzi zange. So tulina ebika bingi eby'endwadde ze twandi vaccinatinze oba ffe ze tuvaccinatinga kuki? Ku faamu zaffe. So kati olwaleero ojja kuyiga nti Brucella naye tusobola omu vaccinatinga. Era oyige n'obubonero bwa Brucella singa ekisolo kyo kiba kirina Brucella oba brucellosis. Kiki ky'oyinza okukola? Era sayini ki z'ojja okulabirako? Ekisooka, embuzi zo zijja kuvaamu amawako. Gwe buli kadde ojja kubeera nkoplaininga naye Katonda yankola ki buli kadde ezange ze zivaamu amawako. Kumbe obuzibu buli ku ggwe tevavaccinatinga bulungi ki mbuzi zo. Tulinamu Clostridium. That is Clostridium disease. It is a viral disease. Nti ke basinga okugamba nti akawuka ak'omu ttaka kaleeta tetanus mu bisolo byaffe. Ojja kusanga embuzi zo buli kadde ziggwerera. Omubiri guli awo gye twandiyise emaciation mu lulimi oluzungu. So kati ojja kusanga embuzi zo zirina kye twandiyise rampant skin. Atwa tugenze ku rampant disease. So which is a viral disease, meaning tuteekeddwa givaccinatinga embuzi zaffe oba ekisolo kyaffe okubeera ekiramu. Tulinayo PPR ne CCPP. Zonna zirina obubonero obw'enjawulo bwe ziyinza okulaga. So kati gwe singa oba tovaccinatinze embuzi zo oba kisolo kyo, menga sure nti ogenda kuluzinga buli kimu ky'olina. Tukimanyi bulungi nti obulamu bw'otambuliramu singa oba tolimye at least lunda. Singa tolunda ensoga egenda kuleka mabega. Kuba buli omu akimanyi bulungi nti okulunda kye kyokka kye tuyinza okukola mu Uganda yaffe.
you.